Hi guys, welcome to another WAYWARD Wednesday. Today is the second part of my Goodreads prediction series, and I'll be talking about thrillers. It might get a little long, so I suggest you get a drink and meet me after the intro. Okay guys, I think I'm not gonna do a much, hopefully. But if you're not familiar what my Goodreads prediction series is, you can check this video right here, and it will also be linked down below. It's just my way of having fun and trying to guess what books will make to the top 15. Today I'll be talking about thrillers, which thrillers and mystery is my favorite genre. It has been forever and will always be. I love me murder mysteries, whodunits, and the passion that comes with it. However, some of my opinions are not the most popular. That's why I have 3 parts to this particular installment of the series. I will give you my heartfelt predictions, which are the predictions that I hope make to the list, I think deserve to be in the list, and I think will make the list less enjoyable if they are not part of it. However, there's a few books that I fear will be in the list instead of some of those that I want. And I will mention them because they are really popular series. So part of me, as soon as I read the description, was like, people are going to eat that up, and I think it's going to be. So I'll mention those as well. And lastly, I have 2 books that are my honorable mentions. I do believe they should be on the list, and they might make to the list. Sorry about the cicadas. But especially one of them, there has been some controversy that was never proven, but I think it might affect his tensions. So I'll just mention them there. Just when I was ready not to do, this dude joined me and he promised a shout out.
Yeah.
Take the floor.
The person who got the shout out was another YouTuber, Lisa G. I'll link her channel in the description and up there. So, yeah. There. You got your shout out. Enjoy yourself. But, what are we talking about in this video? I just ran out here asking her if I can have some chicken, but she said no, because on Tuesday, she said we can have tacos today, but now it's tomorrow. And on Tuesday, she said it would happen yesterday, and now today, but now it's tomorrow night, she will let me eat the chips because it's for the nachos.
He decided to join me today, and Lisa, he did have a rap for you.
No, I didn't. It's just
I'll send to you privately because he's shy.
Yes, it's very...
It was good, actually. But anyway, so I'll start with the books that I think will make the list. Most of them are books I want to make the list. And some are books that I'm comfortable if they do. I'll try to be fast. Some of them I have mentioned either in my August or July.
I'm going to stand in the background so they can see me better.
Anticipated releases. So you can check those videos. I'll have them linked down below. Yes, Jess?
I think we should back up the camera a little.
No, I'm good with it.
Okay, because I was going to say, then it could get more of our setup and the nature.
Yeah, but then it also gets more affect me. The first book I have on my list, and they are in no particular order, is Madness of Crowds. It is in my August prediction video.
Madness of Clouds or Crowds?
Crowds.
Okay.
So this is the 17th novel in the Chief Inspector Gamache series. Louise Penny is a highly popular author, therefore I really think that this book is going to make the list. Even though, to be honest, I don't understand the plot. I think it has to be one of those things that you have to read to get there. But basically, on New Year's Eve, Gamache, who's the chief of the homicide division of the Sûreté de Québec, and he's tasked with the menial job of security protection to a professor who's coming to give a lecture in a local university. Curious as to why he was invited to be the person to do her security, invited. He just looks into her and he's apparently disgusted with what he finds. He campaigns to have the lecture canceled. That doesn't happen. Against his will, he protects her, and then she gives her despicable lecture, divides the town into two groups, promises security to whoever follows her, and then a murder happens with that controversy at its course, and then Mosh is left investigating the menace of crowds. Does it sound confusing? Sorry, I'm still confused about it, but that's my first prediction. I have A Line to Kill by Anthony Horowitz. This is a book that I want and I think should make it to the list. It is the third installment in the Horowitz and Hawthorne series, and in it, our detective and psychic decide to accept an invite to go to a literary festival, which is in a mansion on an island, on a remote island, with a colorful cast of characters that includes some feuding locals. Obviously, we're gonna have some weather that will make them stay locked down. And what is the next thing that happens when a group of people are locked down in an island? Someone dies. And Hawthorne and Horowitz being there, they will investigate and hopefully they can find a murderer before more people follow suit, shall we say. Next on my list, I have Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Finney. I really love the way she writes. Again, this is one that I mentioned in August is bombing, but that I mentioned in my August prediction videos. In it, we have the Wrights. It's Adam and Amelia, and they basically have been married for 10 years. They have this tradition of every year exchanging gifts that have to do with the year marriage, you know, like paper, silver, diamond, gold, whatever. And that's fine. Only this is the 10th anniversary. Their marriage is on the rocks. And they went this trip for a weekend getaway. They both accept the offer because they feel it's, their make or break getaway. That's when they will celebrate the 10th year and decide if it's worth keep investing in their relationship. Okay, but there's other things that happen, like the fact that every year Amelia has a tradition of her own. She writes a letter to her husband but never delivers it until now. And also the fact that once they get there, it becomes clear that they didn't win the trip and one of them is lying. And also there's someone who doesn't want them together happily ever after. Not only that, I think it's worth mentioning that Mr. Wright himself has a condition called face blindness. Is it good or what? Boom. Next on my list, I have, oh wow, another August release. And this one is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. It is a debut novel, so it can be on the debut ones too. But oh my god, I think that any Goodreads list this year without this book is gonna be lacking. It is fantastic. It's dark academia done right. We have a group of 6 friends who meet in Call University, Ivy League University, and they live the best years of their lives. They are a very close-knit group that excludes people from around them, but that's fine for them. And then on their senior year, one of them is killed, and another one is her boyfriend is suspected of have killed her, but nothing comes to it because the police could find no clues, no evidence. That's fine. 10 years go by, they have went their own way, and boom, 10-year class reunion, they are invited. They go in, especially our girl, Jessica. Why? Well, Jessica has suffered with self-esteem all her life, and she's always tried to achieve perfection, but always felt that she couldn't. So for someone who felt like she was second best, she feels that now she's in the moment of her life that she can prove to everyone that she is the best and she's better than them. And oh, she's not gonna shy away from the opportunity to rub it on everybody's face. Like, look at me now. So she goes with this grand plan, okay? To just be like the queen of the reunion and walk away, hoping that everybody will see her for the empress she is. Only someone else had another plan. Someone was happy to see these friends together because this person suspects that one of them have killed Heather, that all of them are hiding secrets, and that they will be found out before the weekend is over. And finally, Heather's killer will go to jail. Amazing. This is such a crazy ride. I really loved it, and I'm manifesting it on the list, okay? Then we have The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell, who is a fantastic author. This is a dual timeline book, but just 2 years apart. So in the first timeline, we have Tallulah, a 19-year-old who went on a date. She lives with her mom, and she is a single mom. So she left her baby with her mother, goes on this date, and then she never comes back. When her mother wakes up and she finds it really strange because this has never happened before, she tries to reach out to Tallulah's friends, and they all say, "I'm sorry, but the last we have seen her was when she went to this house party in this abandoned mansion that is located in the nearby woods. She was never found." Then we jump forward to 2019, so 2 years after Tallulah disappeared, and we have Sophie, whose boyfriend just accepted a teaching position at a local boarding school, local to where Tallulah disappeared. One day when she visited her boyfriend, and then she was alone walking the woods, and she sees this note, like pinned to the tree, and it said, "Dig here." Obviously, police is called, and a cold case starts to warm up. Next, we have For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing, which follow a teacher in Belmont Academies. He's the poster boy. He just won the award for Best Teacher of the Year. He wears all the company's colors, and he's also married. Even though recently people have been asking about his wife, and he says she's fine and she's really proud about his achievements, but has anyone seen her recently? No. He's so focused on helping, by force or not, his students reach academic excellency and maintaining the reputation of the academy that he couldn't care less that a student's parents were murdered, or that there's a student that is too invested in his personal life. All Teddy wants to do is be alone to do his thing, no matter the cost. Next, I'm jumping to The Therapist by B.A. Paris. She is one of my favorite authors. I love the way she writes. People is always full of intrigue and is always fast-paced. I just love the way of telling stories, so I think every year she releases a book, she should be on this list. So in The Therapist, we have Alice and Leo. They move in together in a house in an exclusive gated community called Their Circle. Before long, they make friends in the neighborhood. But then Alice finds out the unsavory reason why the previous owner lives in the house no more. And that will send her down on a spiral of not knowing who she can trust, determined to the point of obsession of finding out what happened to the therapist that used to live in the house, wondering who's keeping secret. And as Alice doubts everything, we go on a crazy journey. Next, we have Such a Quiet Place. So, For Your Own Good, The Therapist and Such a Quiet Place were released in July, and you can find them on my July anticipated videos. In this book by Megan Miranda, we have this beautiful community. It's in a basically a cul-de-sac. They're very close. They are isolated from everyone. They have like woods on their side, a lake on the other, and they all know each other. Like they are super friends. They have like street parties. They know about each other's where they hide a key, about each other's lives. It's like a big old family until two of them are dead, and one of them is accused of having murdered them. Not because of evidence, but because of the testimonies of the other residents. Fast forward about a year and a half, and Ruby, who was convicted of the murder, is in jail. But then her conviction is overturned because really there was no evidence. And what does she do? Obviously, whatever a sane person does, she moves back into that community. And she moves in with Harper. Harper starts getting threatening mystery notes, which makes her think, is Ruby really behind all of this? Or is Ruby as innocent? And that's Such a Quiet Place. Next, we have Survive the Night by Riley Sager. Some might say it's horror, but I do consider it a thriller, so I'm putting it on this list. It is one of my favorite reads so far. And in it, basically, we follow Charlie, a girl who was in university. Her best friend is murdered by the camper serial killer. She can't deal with things no more, and she decides to go back home. But because she doesn't drive, she accepts this ride from a stranger, Josh, that she met because she had like posted on the notification board of the campus. And as she's riding along with him in the middle of the night, she starts to panic because she thinks that he might be the serial killer at campus. Oops. Next, we have The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. And basically in it, we follow Mariana. She's a psychologist who had a big loss a year before. She lost the love of her life. Then she has a niece, Zoe, whom she basically raised since her parents died. And Zoe is going to the same Cambridge University that Mariana went to. And one day, Zoe calls Mariana and say, Auntie, my best friend is dead. And I think this professor and his maidens have something to do with it. I really need you to come here, keep me safe, and to help me prove that he did, because the police is doing nothing about it. They think she killed herself, and I know she didn't. So Mariana goes, and she is obsessed with finding proof that this guy is the killer, because she just decided he is. But things get worse when another girl is found murdered. Another one of Frosta's maidens is found murdered in the same ritualistic way. So more than ever, Mariana wants to get to him before he gets to his next victim, who might be Zoe. Next, we have an earlier release. It was The Push. I believe it came either late January or early February. It is written by Ashley Audrain, and in it we follow Blythe. Blythe is the third generation woman in her family. And I mention women because her mother and her grandmother both passed down the line a trauma of being horrible mothers. Blythe is not sure if she wants kids or not, because she doesn't want to continue this cycle. But she gets pregnant, she has a daughter, she feels hopeless because she starts suspecting something really wrong is happening with her daughter. Everybody tells her she's crazy, but she tries and tries and tries, and she can't bond with her. But then she gets pregnant again, and this time she has a boy. And with him, motherhood is everything she always dreamed she could be. But because she can bond and she can feel everything she hoped she would, more than ever, she suspects her daughter might be a psychopath. But she doesn't want to feel this way about her daughter. And in it, the story goes forward. And we try to figure out if Blythe is right or not. And it's just a fantastic emotional read, The Push. Next, we have Shiver by Ellie Reynolds. This is, again, a closed circle, isolated mystery that I'm down for. This one is highly atmospheric. It takes place in the Alps in the middle of the winter and then snowboarding season. You have this group of friends. They live life even though they don't really like each other, but they gravitate toward each other because they run in the same circles. And then one of them disappears without, like, one moment she's there, the other one she's not. And partly because of what happened to Saskia, the way she disappeared, friends don't really talk to each other anymore until 10 years after. They all received this invitation to meet again at the same chalet that they were last together 10 years ago when Saskia disappeared. They all accept the invite. They go in, maybe to just move on. And to this day, Saskia's body has never been found. Once they get there, and it's really weird because they go up, it's off season. The chalet is closed, so it has been rented just for them. So they are brought up and are told that 2 days after they will be picked up. There is no way out of there, okay? And then they're in there and they start talking, and then they realize that they don't really know who invited them because each invitation had the name of another one of this group of friends, but they all just talk to each other and realize none of them sent the invites. If that was not weird enough, there is an icebreaker set up for them, and in this icebreaker, you write a fact about yourself, you put in this box, and then everybody reads and tries to guess who wrote what. Only as they start to opening is not what they wrote, is 5 very ominous messages. 3 of them just say that, I slept with so-and-so. Okay, like 2 of them are married now, and well. Anyway, but then it gets weird because one of them says, I know where Saskia's body is. And the other one says, I know who killed her. And boom, boom, then they are desperate trying to find who is hunting them. Is it one of them? Is someone that is hidden and they don't know where? They are completely isolated, and they are on a race to find out who this mystery host is before it's too late. Next, we have The Burning Girls by C.J. Tudor. In it, we follow Reverend Jack Brooks and their teen daughter. They move to Chapel Croft. They are looking for a fresh start. But when they pick this town, they don't really know that there is a history. Okay, this is a town that, centuries ago, 8 girls were killed at a stake accused of being witches. And then 30 years prior to it, 2 girls were missing. And then 2 months before, the vicar committed suicide. That's why Jack is able to take in the position. This is a town history, okay? It's bloody. Not only is it bloody, the locals don't welcome outsiders, to the point that on her first day there, when Jack opens a welcome package that was placed at their door, it has an exorcism kit with a note that says, but there is nothing covered up that will not be revealed, and hidden that will not be known. Okay. Whoa, is this getting darker? Ominous. It is an ominous story because the more they get involved with this town and they are decided to find out the mysteries, new mysterious and weird things start to happen. And the question we have here is, will Jack and Flo take on the task of getting to the bottom of it? And if they do, Are they aware of the risk involved? Next, we have Feeling Donovan is Killing It by El Cosimano. Feeling has hit the shitstorm of life. Her now ex-husband is an ex because he cheated on her. She has no money to her name. He just canceled the nanny and she can't afford to keep the girl. She is trying so hard to publish her books, and she's basically overall unable to keep her life together. Okay, maybe things are going to start to look a little better, and she meets with her agent to discuss the plot to a book. Hopefully that they will be able to get a deal out of it. So as she's talking about her plot, someone else at this restaurant overhears her, and that person thinks that Finley is a killer for hire. Then she hires Finley. And honestly, did I tell you that her life is a shitstorm? So things just happen. It's like she has no control. So out of the blue, yeah, she accepts this job offer, and the book goes from there. It's like, she's delicious as a character. It is so funny, so witty, so relatable, even though it's at the same time so out there. Is like, oh my god, this book, I think, no, it has to make this list. It is delicious, it is funny, it's witty, it's a good mystery plot too. And it's a debut novel, so who knows, if you haven't read Feeling Donovan is Killing It, you should definitely check it out. So the last one of my books that I'm predicting is False Witness by Karen Slaughter. She's a very acclaimed author. I haven't read this book yet because as good as she is, her books are graphic and heavy. So to read her books, it's an occasional thing for me because I need to be in the, oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry, I'm losing light, but whatever. To read her books, I need to be in the right frame of mind because as brilliant as they're also heavy. So in this one, it reminds me a little bit of Pretty Girls, and that was like one of my favorite books to read, but also one that turned my stomach quite a bit. So in here we have Lee. Okay, Lee is a defense attorney, and she worked really hard and has achieved the balanced life that she wanted. Even though she's divorced, she gets along with her ex. She's raising a daughter and everything is going right for her. So things are going well. And then this high profile case lands on her desk and is a case that will make her career. So obviously she takes it, even though it involves defending a wealth man accused of rape. And even though she accepted this case, soon she will wish she hadn't. Because remember how I said that Lee's life was pretty balanced and that she worked really hard? Well, she worked really hard because her childhood was very traumatic. And as she meets her client for the first time, she realizes that she was handpicked because this client knows her and she knows him. And this client is connected to something really bad that happened 20 years ago. So he knows what Lee is running away from. So she has no choice but to win this case now, because if she loses, her past is going to come flooding back to haunt her, and that's the last thing she wants. And in order to win this case, she has to reach out to someone she hoped she would never even see again and ask for help. And that's her sister, her strange sister. These next books are really popular. For some reason or another, I've never really felt the urge to read most of them. Sorry, now my other arm is hurting, so I have to change it. But somehow I never felt the urge to read some of them. They are more like the action kind of books that I don't like. At least that's what it sounds like to me, with the exceptional one. But everybody eats these authors. So I think and fear that some of these books will make the list instead of some of the ones that I want, but let's go for it. I might just read it because usually when I talk about synopsis is because I'm so invested in them and I'm not. So We have two books by J.D. Robb, and these are really high books in the series. He has this in-depth series, so we have the 52nd and 53rd books that were released this year. One will be released in September, one was already released earlier. The one to be released is Forgotten in Death, and in it we have Lieutenant Dallas of the police department in New York and Detective Peabody are called to investigate a crime, right? They get in there and they, on this construction site, they find a body of a girl, and she used to be one of the police informants. As they are on this crime scene, nearby at another construction site, the detective, Lieutenant Dallas' husband, had literally just bought and started to develop, bones are found. And the bones are laid similar to this new girl, so are both crimes connected or not. Next, we have Faithless in Death, released earlier this year by J.D. Robb. In it, again, we have Dallas and Peabody. They're called into a studio where the body of sculptor Ariel Bird is found. It seems to be a crime of passion, but when they look into it, the 911 call does not add up. There's a lot of like misinformation and what seems to be lies. So they look into it, and the more they investigate this crime, the more it looks like it's connected to a fanatical group. Next, we have The Wrong Family by Taryn Fisher. This is a book I read. It was really fun. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it, but I think most people liked it way better than I did. I think it might make to the list, even though I wouldn't bump any of my choices for this. But in it, we have Juno, and she's moving in with the Crouch family. And one day she overhears them thinking. And then it seems like they're up to something really bad that Juno has the power to stop. Morally, she knows she should stop them from doing that. But the thing is, Juno is also hiding a lot of secrets. And in order to prevent the Crouches from committing a crime, her secrets would have to come to surface, and she's not sure if she is willing to pay the price. Like, this is the book you read when you are getting out of a slump. It is crazy. It's crazy. Okay, it is fun, but it is what it is. Next, we have When by Harlan Coben. Again, it just seems like those in depth is like, it's not for me, but people love it. In When, we have the kidnap of an heiress, Patricia. She's locked for like months on end. She manages to escape, but so do her kidnapper. Fast forward 20 years into the future, the police is called to investigate the murder of this recluse millionaire who lives in the Upper West Side. And when they are at the scene, they find a stolen painting and a suitcase that has the initials and can be traced to Windsor Horn Lockwood III. And also, these objects that were found, they point to Patricia's case and also a cold case that the FBI has. Windsor, who's our amateur sleuth, has a lot of money and a lot of time to spare, and he thinks it's weird that his stolen belongings were found at a crime scene. So he takes upon himself to investigate the crimes. And maybe he's arrogant enough that he thinks he'll do a better job than police and the FBI combined. Who knows? It is what it is. I heard he's an unlikable character, but people love Harlan Coben, so I think When might make the list. The next book I have is, again, a book I read, I enjoyed, but I think other people liked it more than I did. It was a Reese Witherspoon's book club pick. It is called The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. I believe this was a debut novel as well. So imagine this. When you wake up in the morning and you're about to have breakfast, does it ever cross your mind that when you get to the table, you're gonna find a note by your husband who just disappeared with nothing but protect her, clearly meaning your stepdaughter? No, but that's what Hannah finds. Not only that, but soon after that, the case grows in complexity and the FBI gets involved. And Hannah and Bailey decided to look into it because they just have been told that their husband and dad is not really who he pretended to be. and we just go from here. Next, again, is one of my unpopular opinions. I'm afraid it's even going to be the winner of this whole thing. And you all know how I feel about Stephen King, but yes, the guy is greedy. He's deciding to release a second full novel this year, and this one is a thriller, and it's called Billy Summers. In it, we have Billy Summers, the Dexter of Hitman, okay? He is a killer for hire, but he only accepts cases in which the target is a bad guy. He had a good role. He's the best in the biz, but he decides he's going to retire. But before he retires, he's going to take one less case. Nothing can go wrong, right? This sounds like a really fun plot, and that's again how I feel about Stephen King. If anyone else had written it, I would definitely be reading this book. But there's just something about King's narrative that doesn't mesh with me. So I don't know. Maybe I'll check some reviews. Maybe I'll read it. I kind of enjoyed later, but it is what it is. This, guys, this might even be the winner. Who knows? And last on this list of books I fear will make the list over the ones I wanted is The Hunting Wives. This is a book that sounds really fun, but I keep going back and forth on it. I just haven't been compelled to read it because I feel that it's either going to be really good or really bad, and I'm not ready for that gamble yet. It's written by May Cobb, and in it we meet Sophie. She is this ride roller that has like this very busy, successful life in Chicago, but both her and her husband decide to move to a small town in Texas because they want to raise their son peacefully and be able to relax and things like that. So, well, she leaves her high-paying job and becomes basically a housewife, stay-at-home mom in a small town in Texas. Okay, things are not how she expected, and needless to say, she's bored. But then she meets socialite Margot, who invites her to be part of her group. What group, do you ask? Well, it's an elite group called the Hunting Wives. So these women meet for target practice and dangerous parties. Sophie really quickly gets hooked on the adrenaline and gets caught up in this life. Some might say even leading a double life because that's like a secret group. But things go downhill really fast when this teenage girl's body is found murdered in the woods. And it so happens to be the exact place in the woods where these secret meetings of the Hunting Wives take place. So Sophie Singh finds her life spiraling out of control and finds herself in the middle of a murder investigation. Next and last, and sorry this is long, I have my honorable mentions. The first one is Hairpin Bridge by Taylor Adams. Personally, I would put it on my second category of books that I think will make it to the list, but I don't want to because I prefer my books on the first one. In it, we have twins, and they are Lena and Cambry. They took different paths in life, and then Cambry dies of an apparent suicide. Lena has decided this is not what happened, so she takes her time to make her plan, and she goes to the Hairpin Bridge where Cambry apparently committed suicide, and she invites the detective of the case to come meet her because she wants to go through the evidence to find out what really happened. It is fun. It's crazy. It has so many rides. I ate it up, really fast paced, but it's also a little bit out there. And there has been some mixed reviews, but it was just released recently. So there is a chance that more people will review it and enjoy it and build up the hype. So there's a chance this might make to the list. But again, if it did, it would be on the second one on my list. And now, last, I have Every Last Fear by Alex Finley. And this is a book that if it made to the list, it would be on my list of the books I want to be on it, or like, you know what I mean? But I'm not sure if it will, and I'll tell you why. And this makes me really angry. This book had everything to be like one of the hits of the year. But before its release, because the author's name is called Alex Finlay, a rumor was started. I don't know by who, but it was a very harmful rumor that this author is actually AJ Fenn, the author of Something in the Window, like a girl or whatever. I'm not gonna give this guy clout because I hate him. He's a freaking liar and despicable human being. If you want to hear my thoughts on him, I have his books review linked down below for my blog, and in which I say everything I think is problematic with that guy. So obviously, if Alex Finley was a pen name for AJ Finn because AJ wanted to release a book, but he knows he really has no more clout, he got, that's fine. But it was a rumor, it hasn't been proven. And I don't think it's really fair to assassinate a debut author like that. But I heard that rumor caught up like wildfire, and a lot of people was boycotting the book. For the reason, I'm not sure if it will make it. But if my opinion is worth anything, I do suggest you pick up this book. Like, honestly, it's a book that I wish you would read and make up your own mind about it. I personally like to give the benefit of this book read really well, where I had major problems with reading like the girl or woman or whatever she is in the window. So it didn't read like the same author wrote both to me, for what it's worth. But in it, we follow the Pines. They are they are an adorable family. I love them so much. Especially the teenage girl is like, they are amazing. But they had quite a ride. A few years ago, their oldest son, Denny, was convicted of the murder of his girlfriend. Only he never wavered from saying he's innocent. So this is a mixed media. On top of it, we also have like kind of like flashbacks or tidbits of a documentary, a Netflix documentary that was made on Danny's life, trying to prove his innocence. And that's all fine and dandy, but because of this documentary, the case turned the family infamous and their life was affected negatively. But still to this day, especially Daddy and teenage girl, they are decided to prove Danny's innocence because that one thing has remained true. They really don't think that Danny committed a crime. We have 4 kids. A boy, we have the teenage daughter, then we have Danny, the eldest. The second eldest, Matt, should thank his lucky stars because when the family decides to invite him for a March break vacation in Mexico, he can't because he goes to NYU and his schedule simply doesn't coincide. He can take the week off. Lucky him, because on their trip, his whole family is found dead in the villa of an apparent suicide or accident. But was it? I don't know. Things get fishy because all of a sudden, but was it really an accident? If it was, then why is the FBI involved? And why are the Mexican authorities contacting Matt to go there personally to release the bodies? I don't know. It's a bit fishy. Don't you think so? This is basically where the book starts, and moving forward, we're going to be following a dual timeline of like the present moving forward, trying to solve the Pines accident / murder. What is it? And also in the past, because it becomes clear that this is related to Danny's conviction. We go from there, baby. It is a really fast-paced, great mixed media book. Whew. And as an apology for this long thriller one, we both knew it would be the longest one anyway, right? I'll make, instead of one more episode, I'll make 2. I'll be posting them really soon, and I'll just do one for all YA books because they have fiction and then also like fantasy. So I'll do all my YA books on one, and then everything else on the last one of the series. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below. Have you read any of these books? Is there any books that you think either will make or should make the Goodreads list for best thrillers of 2021? Can't wait to hear what you think. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you. I love having you here. Until next time, be the hummingbird. Mwah.